Hey, today I'm going to do a quick comparison between the Papifeed and the Giotohun cat water fountain. Show you the pros and cons of both and overall which one I prefer. So first off, I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences. So one of the differences is that the Papifeed comes with multiple filters. So it has 2 extra filters, an extra sponge that goes in the pump, a brush to clean it with, and another silicone tube for it. And another thing is that it can run on battery or with the cord. So the way that works is in the back here, you have this piece that requires 4 AA batteries that you can just slide down right here to see. So 4 AA batteries, and then you have an option to plug it in if you want. So you would plug it into the side here, and it has about a 4-foot cord. And I just personally like the fact that it has batteries, so we use the battery option. Now another thing that I like about this is that it has a motion sensor, so it actually turns off until it gets some motion right here with the blue, and it'll shine this blue light here, and once it turns on, it'll turn on for about 6 seconds and then it'll turn off. And now for this one, I haven't plugged it in yet because I want to kind of show you. So the assembly is really easy, basic, and the assembly is going to be similar for both of them. Basically, you take the filter and you put it in the spot here. So what you want to do is soak it for 5 minutes, and that goes for both. And once it's wet and clean, then you go ahead and insert. So this one inserts on the side, and this is the actual pump that goes, has a sponge around it. And so when you're lifting up the lid, it's kind of like a pain to refill because then it can get messy and spill and drip on the counter. And so I'll show you how I actually refill it, which I just think is easier. Has a little faucet, see that's the motion, so it goes for like 6 seconds. This one, it is a little bit different. So the pump actually stays at the bottom for it, and you connect it by the actual silicone tube goes through. And another thing with it is this battery part, it actually slides in through here, and there's this little like part right here that is not in there. So this cord runs through the top, down through the bottom, and it's separate, so it's not going to get wet. And so that's just a nice feature as well. And it's cool because you can slide this in on the side, just like so. And yeah, so those are the assembly processes for both. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in and just show you how it actually runs, and also show you how I refill both of them. So another thing to note is that this one doesn't actually come with extra filters, and so this is how I actually fill it up. But that's just one big important thing, is this one doesn't have the extra filters and sponges like the other one does. But this is actually how I fill it up. I just take a cup that's full of water and I go ahead and pour some on the top. And I do that for both. Just because as I'm refilling it, you can see as well the max and minimum on the side on this one, and then right here on this one. So it's a little bit hard to see with the light, but it's like barely at the minimum. But as you're filling it up, you can kind of see where it's at. I just like to use a cup because it is a lot less messy, and I just think it does an easier job than carrying the whole thing over to the sink, trying to fill it up, spilling water, taking the lid off, spilling water on the counter. And so I just prefer to do it with a cup. Now, between both of them, I will say the lid, something our cat loves to do is he likes to try to bite on the lids and lift up the lids. And so he's able to do that with this one. Like, the lid just comes off easily. And the bad thing about it is pretty full of water. Like, it's got a lot of water in here. So if he's lifting it up, it's gonna make a mess and it's gonna start spilling all over. Whereas this one, the lid doesn't actually really come up very easily. Like, even if he does try to pull it up, it's only the inner part that's gonna pull up. and he's gonna have a much harder time to lift that lid up. So if I had to go between both of these, I think they're both good options. There's like a lot of differences. Another thing is that this one is a 3 liter, this one's a 2 liter, and the fact that this one has the faucet, which is nice because then he could just drink from the side and it just has a little bit more room. But I will say that I overall think that the Papifeed is a better water fountain. Like I said though, you can't go wrong with either. My favorite thing about this is just the motion sensor. So the fact that it turns on for a few seconds and then turns off, whereas this one is constantly flowing, which is nice, but it also can just be like more trouble when it spills when he spills water, makes a mess, anything like that.